We couldn't be more excited, obviously. I know everyone's that way this time of year. That's a common thing. But, almost going at this thing for half a century, I'm pretty honest about my assessments where we are as a team sometimes. And, this is really exciting times in my book because, I know, Bob, you wrote about it, and it's true, but, look, we don't want, I made T-shirts up about a decade ago. It said, don't let the good be the enemy of the great, because that's what we're looking to be. It's not a commitment to excellence. Excellence means, by Webster's dictionary, very good. What we want is a commitment to greatness, which means you distinguish yourself as the single team standing. And I could attest, look, you guys remember 2009, we won 14 in a row, had it all set up, and what a season, right? Boy, I tell you, one of the most bitter disappointments we ever faced, because, that's the way it is when you don't win the last game. And we know most of the time you don't win the last game, but the years you do, White House and parade, on and on and on it goes. But we're just focused. We're focused on the task at hand, which is meaning today getting better on the field, focusing for our home opener. Our away opener in this case, and being ready for that. So I like the health of the team. Dave Hammer's report to me was very short, which is always good. We've had one situation that popped up, but beyond that, it's excellent. And Andrew's excellent. He's happily married, waiting for the baby to come and all that kind of stuff. So I couldn't be more excited, guys. But answer question away.
Jim, you've experienced good seasons, bad seasons, great seasons. This time of year, on those good or great seasons, what has been are there any sort of common characteristics that you're seeing or feeling right now?
Yeah, I think that it's really kind of an intuitive thing, and you sense the way your general manager and head coach is flowing. Certainly where your quarterback's at, because everyone here knows Andrew stays healthy and has a great year, we're going to have a great year. It's almost impossible to imagine us not having a great year if Andrew has a great year. So, but we know there's much more than that. We know it's about running a football. We also know how we used to talk about the offensive line and the concerns. Now it's become a strength. Now it's one of the best 3 or 4 offensive lines in the league, and I think that's without question. And not only does it have excellence on the starting 5, but it has depth. And the defensive line, that has a lot of depth. It has talent, and with Houston here, it really just is a game changer. And then all of a sudden, Doyle's back, Kane's back. Those are big, big bonuses. Those are like signing free agents, quite frankly. They weren't here. So that's very exciting. And just you can sense the air of confidence. But look, we got to prove it. You open that season and the ball goes in the air, you get smashed in the mouth, and the game's on, and you got to go get it. You got to take it. And as Bill Walsh used to say, you got to beat them to the punch. So yeah, there's definitely that feeling that is everywhere, including the fans, which is the most important element of their excitement, and they can sense it.
How much better can Andrew get, Jim, when you look at the fact this is the first time in his career he's had the same offensive line 2 straight years. Second time he's had the same offensive system in his career 2 straight years. How much better can he get having all this continuity, rarely that he hasn't had in his career?
I think it can be outstanding. Obviously, they all want to throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. That doesn't happen very much. I know Andrew only wants to win because he's a team player, and it's something where it sets up special for him, because all of a sudden, you're adding, pairs to the mix. You're adding, like I said, Doyle's back, Kane's back, Funches. My gosh, that's a dynamic change to the positive. Plus, what I always said, you guys know I've mentioned it, keeping this team together, which we have, completely together in the offseason. So when you make additions, it's not subtraction, addition, and you're kind of where you started from. No, this is all exciting stuff because it's extremely positive, and some of these guys can excel rookie year at their positions. So it's really going to be exciting. And again, I can't emphasize enough my praise, honestly, for Chris Ballard and Frank Reich. It's really just an outstanding team we have there with those two men leading us, and it surely makes my job a lot easier, from some days gone by, which are many. So it's very exciting, guys.
Jim, you mentioned you talked to Dave Hammond with a short list with one incident. Is your ball shared? Is there any update on him?
I think, Coach should address that. I think, I know he's going to, be fine and play this season and all that sort of thing. I'm check with Coach on what, exactly, he wants to discuss. But, it's certainly not a season-ending injury, Mike, or nothing like that. So it's just probably stood out as unusual because, seriously, Dave on his report was pretty much, they all passed the physical and no issues right now. I'm like, really? That's awesome because, these days they come with all these terms, chondro defects. I mean, that stuff wasn't even there 30 years ago. I don't know where all this stuff came from. I mean, honest to God, it's incredible. But, hey, these guys train and, like Olympic athletes. And, I think like even the combine's almost a season in itself, how they get ready for that and that explosive activity that they go through. So yeah, Mike, I really think so far so good. It's obviously early, but hey, we're excited about Buffalo, Thursday night game. It's always exciting, your first game to start it off. And obviously going to Los Angeles for the openers where we're focused.
Jim, you've done this for a long time. You've seen a lot of teams in training camp early. Does this team have what it takes in your mind to get to Miami at the end?
It does. I don't think we shy away from that, but we also know, and Chris and coaches say the same thing, is that, you got to be confident. I mean, you have to have confidence, but it's tempered with the fact that, there is so much that has to happen. What I'd like to see us do, and it's not an essential, but it certainly would be helpful, is to see this team get home field advantage. When you're 2 games away from the Super Bowl, and hopefully they're both home games, at least if one of them are, you get the bye week, that is a huge advantage, big advantage. And, you guys know we got it in 2000 and 2010 multiple times, and we didn't always take advantage of it, but that's what you want to do. I can remember sitting here with Bill Polian and Tony Dungy saying, after 2002 against the Jets, hey, we got to, we got to get home field advantage now. We got to get off the road. We don't want to play on the road and be that 5th or 6th wild card team if we can. So that's a tall order. Most people will say, hey, you got to probably win at least 12 games, and they're right. So that's very difficult. But, we look at that, and quite frankly, I think everyone aspires to win the Super Bowl going to training camp, or you wouldn't even show up. From an owner's standpoint, from being really realistic, this team is one of the best teams that I've had the privilege to bring to our fans with the general manager and head coach and have a situation that honestly matches some of those days of Peyton, Edger, and Reggie, all those guys. But, those guys were special, and, you had the bookend rushers and all that stuff. So we need to have some of these young guys emerge. That's very important for us to really become great.
What's the biggest thing Chris Ballard's changed in the 3 years since he took over, in your mind?
I would say not just very structured in the way he's gone about his work, but that it's purposeful and structured. He knows what he wants. He knows he has to be organized to get it, and he has a process that he goes through. for success, and it's a disciplined process. So he really is remarkable, and just tremendous energy, loves his job, and really is a guy, like I told you guys, I think, is one of the best GMs of this early part of this century, and I hold by that.
Jim, you're heading into your 25th year as an owner. How have you and your ownership philosophy evolved since you started in this position?
Well, I would say that you become more wise, more mature, because you have a chance to see more, take in more, observe more, and I don't think we can ever say we've seen it all, but I've seen many different scenarios emerge. So, Bob, I think it's a blessing. Just having had my 60th birthday, where I'm still, young enough where I can really have the energy to do what I need to do with this, with the team and other parts of my business world life. But with this football team, those 25 years have really been invaluable, because it's not like a trial and error thing happens, but in essence it does, and you learn that just how important it is more than ever. And I know it's a simple concept, but you have to have unity at the top, you have to have harmony at the top, you have to have two people that are communicating and have not only have the same goals, because everyone always has the same goals about winning, but also going about it in a way that they're together on the process and disciplined. Look at Frank's schedule's very detailed. He already knows what time practice is going to start 17 days from now. I can't make a tea time and know that, much less be that organized. But these guys are, and they're right at that sweet spot age. Great experience, tremendous still youth for those guys. And so for me, Bob, I tell you, it's been a blessing. I go to league meetings now, and quite frankly, there's no one left in the room. I mean, Mike Brown's the only guy, and he hasn't been to every meeting, but he's the only guy that was there in '81 for my first meeting. And so that's been strange to see, the time pass, and all of a sudden, all these guys that were like uncles to me, or even fathers, being gone. So, I take the responsibility very serious. I really do. I know the beautiful thing about this thing is how much it means to our fans, and it means that much to me. And it's just so important to define yourself through your work here. And we're so blessed to have so much interest in our game, and we do not take that lightly. So not only with the Colts, but I think with the league, Wellington Mira's words echo in my mind, hey, don't forget the game. You have to manage the game, make the game great. That's the essence of what we do, and the rest will follow. So I couldn't be more excited, Bob. I think it's really exciting. Obviously, Andrew's in that sweet spot era for him, age-wise, and there's really not a lot of weakness, here with the roster. Only excitement about some of these guys coming back. So, really, I'm very excited, and it's hard to start saying, what are your goals for the whole decade coming up, 2020 here coming soon and all that stuff, but you stay focused into this year. And so it's a tough opening schedule, going on the road twice, particularly with the Chargers, and I think for what we want to do, it's very important to get off to a good start. And I don't want to put words in his mouth because he's not here anymore, but I could hear Bill Polian echoing if he was with me now. He'd say, well, we're going to be 1-1. That's good enough. We got the Chargers on the road. We can't win that one. It's like, Bill, be more optimistic than that, for God's sakes. You're the general manager. He cracked me up that way. Deep down he was, but I think he had to get those thoughts out in the open so they didn't bother him so much. But we want to go and get to 1-0, Bob. I believe, honestly, on the road in LA, it's almost like 1.5-0 because it would be a huge win. And your first win is so important. You get that, monkey off your back about, all of a sudden if you go 0-2, you guys start reeling out the, the stats. Only this many teams gone 0-2 and made it to the Super Bowl, etc. And so we have to grab the momentum early. And we've been dealt a tough card there. And, quite frankly, I think, I'm not happy that we did not get a home national game. I mean, we should have gotten that. We didn't. Obviously, we have national games on the road, but we love them here, obviously, for many reasons. So Bob, I've evolved, more gray hair, more grandchildren, and so it's been an evolution that's been really blessed, just to be able to, chalk up more years to experience, and you're always learning, though. It's never stop learning in this position of ownership, that's for sure.